Hello everyone, welcome to KSV. In this video, we will discuss about methods of data collection. We will see different methods of data collection. Before starting, we should first know what is data collection. So data collection is the process by which the researcher collects the information needed to answer his research problem. It is a task of data collection begins after a research problem has been defined. Before starting or in collecting the data, the researcher must decide which data should be collected, how to collect the data, who will collect the data, and when to collect the data. He should start only after answering these four criteria. Introduction. There is two types of data. First is primary and second one is secondary. So what is primary data? Those data which are collected afresh and for the first time and thus happen to be original in character. That data is known as primary data. Any information, any incident, any data which happens to be first time, for the first time, it is known as primary data. Then what is secondary data? Those data which have already been collected by someone else and which have been passed through the statistical process. The data or the information which have already been collected by other person and is published in different articles, different journals, and it have been gone through statistical process. It is known as secondary data. The researcher would have to decide which sort of data he would be using for his study, and according to that he will have to select one method for data collection. Collection of primary data. How primary data is collected? It is collected during the course of doing experiments in an experimental research, as primary data is that type of data which is collected for the first time. So it is usually collected by different experiments, but in research surveys or descriptive type studies, it is collected by observation or through direct communication with the respondents in one form or another, or through the personal interviews. This means that there are several methods for collecting primary data, particularly in surveys and descriptive researches. The various methods for the collection of primary data. First method is observation method. Second method is interview method. Third is through questionnaire. Fourth is through schedules. And some other methods which include warranty cards, distributor audits, pantry audits, consumer panels, using mechanical devices, through projective devices, depth interviews, and content analysis. So these are the different methods which can be used for the collection of primary data. Let us first see observation method. We will discuss about observation method and interview method in this video. So first we will see observation method. So observation method is most commonly used, especially in the studies relating to behavioral sciences. For example, if we want to study the behavior of different people, different responses, then observation method is most widely used. It becomes a scientific tool for researcher when it is systematically planned and recorded and is subjected to checks and controls on validity and reliability. For example, in studying relating to consumers' behavior, the investigator, instead of asking the brand of wristwatch, he or he may himself look at the watch. So he just usually observe the respondent, that uh, that which type of watch consumer has been wearing. The researcher should keep in mind the following three criteria: that what should be observed, how the observations should be recorded, how the accuracy of the observations can be ensured. In the word of P.V. Young, observation may be defined as systematic viewing coupled with consideration of seen phenomenon. Different steps for an effective observation. First step is determine what needs to be observed. Before starting the observation, an investigator must decide that what criteria or which things he has to observe. Second step is select the participant. It may be random or it may be selected. So investigator has to select the particular group of participants or particular number of participants whom have been observed. Conduct the observation is third step. Decide venue, decide duration, recording materials, and take photograph. It is very important to use recording materials and take photograph. It will be very useful in analyzing the data. Fourth step is compile all the data which have been collected by the investigator, and the last step is analyze and interpret the data collected. Observation method is classified according to three criteria. First classification is structured observation and unstructured observation. So structured observation is characterized by a careful definition of the units to be observed, the style of recording, the observation method, observed information, standardized conditions of observation, and the selection of related data of observation. So structured observation is that in which the style of recording the observed information is previously decided, standardized condition of observation is previously decided. This structured observation is appropriate in descriptive studies. So what is unstructured observation? When it takes place without the above characteristics, is known as unstructured observation. It is very appropriate in exploratory studies. Classification 2. For social sciences, it contains participant observation and non-participant observation. So what is participant observation? When the observer is a member of group which he is observing, then it is participant observation. In this type of observation, investigator or observer is a member of group. Silently he is a member of group, and he is silently observing the other participants of the group. So in this way he can experience what the member of group experience throughout the observation. So this type of observation is known as participant observation. Non-participant observation: when observer observes a group as a detached emissary without any attempt on his part to experience through the participation what others feel. It is non-participant observation. So when the investigator or when the observer is no longer member of a group and he is standing on one side and silently observing the other group without being the member of that group, this is known as non-participant observation. Classification 3, it contains uncontrolled observation and controlled observation. Uncontrolled observation: this observation takes place in natural condition, that is, it is done to get spontaneous picture of life and persons. Uncontrolled observation is occurring naturally. No attempt is made to use precise instruments. It has a tendency to supply naturalness and completeness of the behavior. So in uncontrolled observation, nothing is previously planned. Okay, it goes with the flow. So what is controlled observation? When observation takes place according to pre-arranged plans, when everything is previously planned, previously arranged, like with experimental procedure, it is controlled observation. Generally it is done in laboratory under controlled conditions. Mechanical instrument is usually used to get accuracy and standardization. Different advantages of observation method: the main advantage of this method is that the subject bias is eliminated. Second point is produce large quantities of data, as we are not asking any questions to respondents, only we are only we are observing their behavior, so it generates a lot of data. All data obtained from the observation are useful. The observation technique can be stopped or begun at any time. There is no criteria of fixed time. It can be stopped and recontinued at any time. The information related to what is currently happening, it is not complicated by past behavior or future intentions or attitudes. This method is independent of respondents' willingness to respond. So in this method, there is that is it is not necessary that respondents must respond to the investigator. In this method, investigator just observes the respondents behavior, so it is not necessary for the respondents to complete a task or to perform any task. Okay, so as such is less demanding of active cooperation on the part of respondents, particularly suitable in studies which deal with the subject who are not capable of giving verbal reports of their feelings for any reasons. So these are all the advantages of observation. Now let us say disadvantages of observation. There are few disadvantages of observation method. Interviewing selected subjects may provide more information economically than waiting for the spontaneous occurrence of the situation. This means that observation method takes too long time to be completed. Okay, whereas interview method that shortens that time. It does not Interview method does not wait for the respondent's behavior. So observation method is also very expensive method. Sometimes unforeseen factors may interfere the observational task, as respondents does not need to perform any task. They don't know that they have been observed, so sometimes unforeseen factors may interfere in the observation. Extensive training is needed for the investigator. Like investigator must know what things should be observed, how it is observed, and which information should be collected, with which information should be neglected. Second method is interview method. The interview method of collecting data involves the presentation of oral verbal stimuli and reply in terms of oral verbal responses. In this method, interviewer asks a question to the respondent, and respondent has to respond or has to answer that particular question. So this type of oral verbal communication is known as interview method. This method can be used through personal interviews or telephonic interviews. So there are two types of interview method: personal interview and telephonic interview. Various steps for an effective interview. First step is prepare interview schedule. First we have to prepare interview schedule, like we have to fix the time, we have to fix the place. Then second step is select subjects and key respondent. Third step is conduct the interview, and last step is analyze and interpret the data collected from the interview. Guidelines for successful interviewing. To conduct the successful interview, it is very important to follow the given guidelines. Interview is an art and one learns it by experience. However, the following points may be kept in view by the interviewer. It is very important to follow these guidelines. First is interviewer must plan in advance and should fully know the problem under consideration. So interviewer must plan in advance, and he must know the problem which has to be discussed with the respondent. Interviewer's approach must be friendly and informal. No rude behavior should be there while performing an interviewer. So interviewer should be very calm, should be very relaxed while performing an interview. All possible efforts should be made to establish proper rapport with the interview. Fourth guideline is interviewer must know that ability to listen with understanding, respect and curiosity is the gateway to communication, and hence must act accordingly during the interview. Fifth guideline is to extend the possible There should be a free flowing interview and the questions must be well phrased in order to have full cooperation of the interviewee. So fourth and fifth guidelines suggest that interview must be very interviewer must have ability to listen with understanding and respect the interviewee's answers and uh, developed a very peaceful communication with the interviewee. Sixth guideline is in case of big inquiries where the task of collecting information is to be accomplished by several interviewers, there should be an interview guide to be observed by all interviewers. There must be any guidelines, some guidelines which have to be performed, which have to be followed by the interviewer before starting the interview method. Thank you for listening. That's all for this video. Thank you so much.